Hi everyone, my name's Amanda Rhetoric and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about cattle farming. My family raises Black Angus cattle for the beef industry. I stole this little guy from my son's bedroom. We do not have horned Black Angus. Ours are dehorned or called polled. If I asked you what is the one of the most unsung job occupations in this nation, would cattle farming be it? I think it is. Cattle farming is so important to our nation as well as our state, but people generally believe that their meat just comes from the supermarket. It doesn't actually come in from anywhere before that. But a lot of time and effort goes into the beef industry to get beef processed for consumption by American people. Cattle farmers are also known as ranchers, and they have very strong work ethic and they are very, very hard workers. Cattle farmers typically spend at least an hour a day with their herd, usually every day, sometimes every other day. They get a feel for the cattle and get to know their cattle very, very well. They can tell when a cow is sick, if there's something off with the herd, or if a cow is about to calf. A good cattle farmer can tell that just because they spend a lot of time with their herd. Cattle farmers typically only have a high school diploma. Some have degrees, but it's not necessary. The best farming comes from older and wiser people. It's kind of like an apprenticeship. One of the best ways to learn is just by doing, finding out what works best for you and your cattle. But like I said, the apprenticeship, if there's a problem, you can find an older and wiser cattle farmer and get their advice. Sometimes they have old remedies and stuff that work just as good as new conventional medicines. A lot of cattle farmers learn just by the on the job experience that they get because their farms have been passed down from generation to generation. So they grew up doing the cattle farming themselves, even though they might not have owned the farm at that time. The annual median income for a cattle farmer in the state of Arkansas is $61,170. That is found at ONET website. It's the summary report for farmer, ranchers, and agricultural managers. Because of this, employment in the cattle industry is not expected to decline because let's face it, Americans, we like our meat, we like our beef. 97% of Arkansas cattle farms are family owned and operated with a herd size of an average of 40 head of cattle. That is found on the Arkansas Beef Facts at Arkansas Farm Bureau website. Arkansas is also ranked 11th in the nation for beef cattle, and that is found at the Arkansas Beef Council website. Cattle farming interests me for several reasons. First off, I truly enjoy working with the cattle. It's fun with my husband. It is a hard job, it is hard work, but it's fun. It's family time for us. Second of all, I want to know what's going into my body. I want to know what is going into my family's body when I present them food on the table. We eat our own beef, and I know what has gone in the production and process of maintaining that cow and what's going into it to make it better for us to consume. Lastly, I want to be more self sufficient. I don't want to have to depend on somebody else when it comes time to feeding my family or keeping us alive. I want to be more self sufficient in doing that. As you can see, cattle farming can be a very productive occupation, but the returns don't always happen immediately. My husband and I took out a small loan to get our first head of cattle. The calves that we have right now, this calf crop that we just had, we will sell at the market, and then we'll use that profit to pay off our loan that we've got, so that next year's calf crop will be all profit. Do you always make a profit when cattle farming? Of course, the answer is no. Mother Nature happens. You can have disease, lightning strike that can get your whole herd. Calves may be sick, or the market just may be down, and so you may not always turn a good profit for cattle farming. But what you do is you just thank God for what you do have and you move on. So in general, I think more people should look into cattle farming as a good occupation.